Have you ever covered a carpet stain with a rug, ignored a leaky faucet, pretended your half-painted living room is supposed to look like that? Well, you're not alone. We've all got unfinished home projects. But there's an easier way. Thumbtack is an app that makes it easier to care for your home. Pull out your phone and in just a few taps, search, chat, and book highly rated pros right in your neighborhood. Download Thumbtack and start caring for your home the easier way.
Hey mama, have you been looking for guided meditations that can really speak to this journey of motherhood? Then check out the Meditation for Moms podcast. Free guided meditations that are here to help support you throughout the entire journey of motherhood. Motherhood is no joke. It's full of incredible highs, heartbreaking lows, and everything in between. Meditation for Moms gives you guided meditations that will speak to your soul no matter what season of motherhood you're in. Listen for free today. Follow Meditation for Moms on your favorite podcast player.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1770. The Need for Revenge on Your Ex. How to Use It to Fuel Your Recovery. By Corbano of LovesAGame.com. Hello, everybody. Greg Audino here, welcoming you to Optimal Relationships Daily. So glad to have you for another episode of the show where I narrate to you each day from different relationship content, forever supplying you with the information you need to make the most of the relationships in your own life. Today, we'll be talking about our relationships with our exes, which of course are relationships in their own right. We've got the breakup master, Eddie Corbano, back today with a post about that gross and slimy need for revenge that we sometimes feel. So let's see what he has to say about channeling that energy properly towards your ex and start optimizing your life. The Need for Revenge on Your Ex. How to Use It to Fuel Your Recovery. By Eddie Corbano of LovesAGame.com. I'm not quite sure when it started, but once it did, it was like an inescapable obsession that was driving me forward. The overwhelming pain slowly subsided. It felt as if a veil was lifted from my eyes and something new was beginning. Something that from now on would shape my recovery. The energy that drove my recovery. After experiencing a relationship breakup, you have to go through the different phases of recovery, whether you want to or not. It's the same for each and every one of us, from shock to denial, from an emotional roller coaster to acceptance, from letting go all the way through to the reopening. It's the natural way of healing after a breakup. There are actually ways to sabotage your healing, but I'm ignoring those for the moment. Part of this process, especially in the beginning, is experiencing anger and resentment. We are angry at ourselves for all the mistakes that we think we've made, be they real or not, and we are angry at our ex for everything they did to us. Leaving us is on top of the list. Very few of us realize that anger can be a good thing at the beginning of our recovery. It keeps us away from depression and despair. This is because anger is more positive than the latter. It's higher on the emotional ladder. The tricky part, though, is that it has to be expressed in a healthy way, or it will harm us. Not expressing the anger in a positive way was a big mistake I made back then. The unconscious anger I felt towards my ex redirected and became self-destructive. The result was that it pushed me even further down. What I couldn't do at the time was to acknowledge that I was angry at her, so I turned it on myself. How I took revenge upon my ex. Quote, I will hurt you for this. I don't know how yet, but give me time. A day will come when you think yourself safe and happy, and suddenly your joy will turn to ashes in your mouth, and you'll know the debt is paid. End quote. By George R.R. Martin in A Clash of Kings. A natural consequence of anger is revenge. To inflict punishment in return for injury is the definition. Many readers wrote me that the anger they feel towards their ex and their inability to resolve the anger nonviolently contributed negatively to their recovery. But what to do when we want them to feel the same pain we are feeling right now? My answer was always the same. You have to find a healthy and positive way to express your anger. There are many ways to do this. Back then, I discovered by accident what helped me the most, what became my revenge. What I did was invest almost all of my energy into becoming the person she wanted me to be. I dressed better. I worked out harder. I became more confident. I did lots of things she would approve of and became her Mr. Perfect. The only problem was, and I didn't know it at the time, most of this wasn't me. What I desperately wanted her to say and think was, "Wow, look at him. He is exactly what I always wanted in a man. I made such a terrible mistake leaving him. I want to reconcile desperately with him, but I know that he doesn't want me anymore, and that is really killing me." I cannot tell you enough how much it helped me imagining her saying these words. It gave me back my power. It put me back in control, and I desperately needed that. That was my revenge. Becoming the person she desperately wanted and knowing she couldn't have me. As written, you will have a problem later if the person you are becoming is not the person you really are, if it's not the real you. But that's okay. You will enter a new phase where getting back at your ex won't matter anymore, and it will become irrelevant what they think. Then you will understand that the most important thing is to be authentic, to reconnect with the real you, a person you might have missed for a long time. My point is that this driving energy of revenge, by becoming the person they really want, is not a bad thing at the beginning. It will get you through the toughest times, but it has to be temporary, a transportation device to get you from one breakup phase into another. When you manage to do that, your perspective will change, again, and it will release a self-finding process that is crucial for your recovery. This kind of revenge might not necessarily be the right thing for you, but it has helped me tremendously. Being able to reach your full potential, I, for one, had triumphed in the end, and also looked stunning as a positive side effect. You just listened to the post titled, "The Need for Revenge on Your Ex, How to Use It to Fuel Your Recovery," by Eddie Corbano of LovesAGame.com.
White Men Can't Jump is only on Hulu.
You assumed I couldn't hoop because I'm white.
No, I assumed you couldn't hoop because you were dressed like a white girl at Whole Foods.
Now streaming.
We can hustle a few games.
We'll throw them off their game and we'll clean up.
See the movie event
Those short shorts look incredible on you. You have OnlyFans?
only on Hulu.
We win, we make more money than we've ever seen in our lives.
Sin Qua Walls,
But you're not bringing enough money to cover this game.
Jack Harlow.
I brought like 80 minus 60.
I knew this was a mistake.
White Men Can't Jump. Rated R. Now streaming only on Hulu.
So, you open Google Chrome on your phone, you're hunting for a super rare first edition vinyl of a band you're obsessed with, when you're supposed to be working. But this site you tapped on seems pretty shady. And Daryl from IT just jumped up from his desk. Oh no, he's coming your way. It's a good thing built-in malware protection keeps you safe and sound. Not from Daryl, though. Sorry. There's no place like Chrome. Download Google Chrome on your phone.
A very enjoyable post from Eddie today, a post that definitely had some surprises in it, which I love. It's a really unique idea, acting in such a way that may not be fully healthy and may not always be the best solution, yet is still right for that given moment. Other relationship experts may encourage different means of expressing anger. It's always good to embrace it rather than to suppress it. Revenge, however, often has a more negative connotation somehow, keeping many people from wanting to even touch it. Yet Eddie still has found a healthy way of expressing this need, which is always better than running from it. Is it reactive? Yes. Do we wish it wasn't there? Sure. But Eddie's personal example goes to show that healing must be respected at each level, and that even less than ideal means of coping can yield good results sometimes. Like a smoking hot bod and a fancy wardrobe if you're Eddie, I guess. But before I make our author uncomfortable, I'm going to wrap things up here today. I appreciate you all being here with me and staying through the end, folks. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And be sure to come on back tomorrow, where I will have more content for you. That's where your optimal life awaits.